Imagine being a parent who doesn't get enough time with their kids. What could be more heartbreaking than that? Well, years ago, an amazingly successful female entrepreneur named Shanda Sumpter came to me with that problem. She wasn't having enough time with her son, Zach, but she was building an 8-figure business. And so she hired me for a day, and I taught her how I get my workday done by 2 p.m. And I'm going to share with you today everything that I taught her in that coaching session so that you can scale your business while working less. Hi, my name is Craig Ballantyne. I'm the creator of the Perfect Week Formula and the host of the Early to Rise radio show. And I'm going to be super excited to bring to you in this session about exactly what I do, step by step, so that you are able to free yourself from the golden handcuffs of trading time for money and working too much and missing out on what matters in your life. Now, the first thing that you have to do is going to seem really counterintuitive. But what you have to do is you have to set the cutoff time. You have to set the cutoff time and you have to communicate it. So if you're getting up right now at 5 o'clock in the morning, you start work at 7 and you're working till about 4, 5 o'clock, maybe even 6 o'clock at night, that's a lot of hours, crazy a number of hours. And it's going to seem insane for you to tell everyone you're done at 2, but until you make that decision, until you burn the boats, as the old phrase goes, you'll never put your heart into it. You'll never be willing to follow the rest of the steps. You have to do it. And here's what I found having kids and coaching thousands of entrepreneurs who also have kids, is that when you have kids, they force you to become a better, more efficient, more productive entrepreneur. You no longer have those nights where you can just work till 9 or 10 o'clock at night with no cares in the world. Instead, you have to get your work done because you have to take care of another human being. And it then forces you to say no to things. And that's part of the boundaries, which is what is missing from most people's lives. So if you feel stressed and overwhelmed, if you feel like people are walking all over you and taking advantage of you, it's because there aren't strong, clearly communicated boundaries in place. And that was one of the first things we did with Shanda. She wanted to go from getting done work at 4 o'clock to 2 p.m. And so we just decided right there, that's what we were going to do. And when you make that decision, now it forces you to make a bunch of other decisions earlier in the day, but that decision is the keystone one. So you are going to pick a time, even if you don't want to get done at 2. If let's just say you want to get done 30 minutes earlier, you want to get done at 5 instead of 5:30, because then you'll be able to get home on time for dinner. Great. You're going to communicate that with everybody. Every decision I'm making now, everyone, is because I need to get done at 5 p.m. I need to leave the office at 4:59, no later. And it is unacceptable if I do. It all comes down to that first key decision, which leads us to the next. The second thing that we need to do is say no more often. As entrepreneurs, as people who are ambitious and high achievers who are successful, we want to do so many things. We want to train for that marathon and that bodybuilding competition and build a 7-figure or 8-figure business. And we want to write a book and we want to start I get it. We take 10 pounds of potatoes and put it in a 5-pound bag because we think we can do everything. And that leads to overwhelm and stress and 70, 80, 90-hour work weeks. It just isn't going to work, though. We can't do great things in all of those areas. I've had a quote that's been very, very popular with people, and it goes like this. If you want to do great things, you have to do fewer things. If you want to do great things, you have to do fewer things. So you have to learn how to say no. You have to ruthlessly eliminate. And so if we've set that boundary of 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock or whatever it is, and we've communicated it with people, now we start to say no. We have to go back and ruthlessly cut the fluff. And we have to go forward and ruthlessly cut the fluff. So we look and we say at our current days, what am I doing right now? By looking backwards, right? What am I doing? What meetings are wasted time? What meetings should be shorter? Why am I in this meeting? That's one of the key things. The only people who should be in meetings are the people who need to be in the meeting. And the only reason to have a meeting is so that you make a decision. It shouldn't be to get information. Information can be given by Loom videos, by reports, by emails. It shouldn't be to share information. It should only be to make decisions. And the only people in the room of the meeting should be those people responsible for the decision. So Elon Musk is absolutely against meetings, and he says you should try and avoid them. You should walk out of them if you're not feeling like it's worth your time. He actually says you should walk out of meetings at Tesla. And so that guy says no because he's running multiple billion-dollar businesses. And if he can run multiple billion-dollar businesses, you can run one 8-figure or 7-figure business by saying no more often. So that's by looking back. You ruthlessly reflect on your performance and say, here's where I'm wasting time. And then looking forward, we start to cancel things. I like to look forward for the next 3 to 4 weeks and give at least 72 hours cancellation notice. I think that's fair to anything that just doesn't seem worth my time. When somebody asks you to do something 3 months from now, it's like, yeah, sure, I'll do it, because there's no value and urgency on that time. And that's how you end up overcommitted. And that's why once you get to 21 days away from something, you start to see your calendar is actually full of real work and important stuff, and you need to cancel in advance. Say, I'm sorry, I'm very sorry. I just cannot do this to my family and to my team. I'm unavailable for this thing that I said I would do. You can maybe reschedule it, but in most cases, you should just cut it. And it is okay to cancel with notice. And so that's part of step 2, which is ruthlessly eliminate it, because you don't have time to waste on those things if you want to get done by 2 p.m. The third step is the flip side of things, is to make the most of your magic time. This is a time of day when you're 3 to 5 times more creative, productive, and energetic than any other time of day. And this is where you have to do the hardest work. I got really young kids, and so we got a lot of toys laying around the house. And you may remember to when you were a kid or when you raised your kids that there's a toy that's very common, and it's a shaped toy, right? You take the block that's a square and you jam it into the square hole. You take the block that's round and you jam it into the round hole. But what most people do in their lives is, the analogy is they're taking the square peg and trying to jam it into the round hole. It's the wrong hole. You're jamming the wrong thing in the wrong hole, and that's going to frustrate you. And what I mean here is you're taking your hardest activity and you're trying to do it after lunch when you're tired. You're taking your easiest activities like your to-do list and you're doing that first thing in the morning when you have the greatest productivity, energy, and creativity. And you're mismatching things. You're jamming the round peg of the to-do list in the square hole of your morning magic time. And because there is the mismatch there, you are not as productive as you can be. So even if we didn't cut things and all you did was improve the alignment between the energy and mental intensity of the activity, like I'm doing my hardest activity when I'm most effective, if we just did that, we would double your productivity. So if you just took the hardest things that you're supposed to be doing and you did them at the right time when you're most productive and creative, which you're not doing now, I know. If you just did that, you would get your work done faster. So that's what you need to do. In most cases, is morning magic time. And what we do is we have the millionaire morning routine where we get up and we go right to work on the number one opportunity or the number one problem. And we plan and prepare the night before. So we know what it is. We make a priority to-do list and we do a little bit of process planning, as I explain in my book, The Perfect Week Formula, so that we grease the groove and our subconscious mind works on it overnight so that when we get up in the morning, whoosh, the answers are there. And if you did nothing else but that, you would double your productivity. So that's the key. So you've eliminated a bunch of stuff. You've doubled your productivity through matching, and you have that hard deadline. We could stop there. But wait, there's more. The next step is to plan better than ever before. If you take a look at your favorite movie, it's following a script. Nobody's making things up, and that's how it turns into gold. If you think about your favorite football team, they practice the same play over and over again. It's scripted, so that when they go and play on Sunday, they perform at a high level. The team that is best prepared wins. And this is what I've learned from studying billionaires, is that the person who is most prepared in a meeting, a negotiation, wins. Ted Rogers was a famous Canadian entrepreneur, and he basically was like Ted Turner of Canada, and he built TV stations and mobile phone companies, and regular phone companies and mobile phone companies, and he died a multi-billionaire. And in his biography, he just explains that every time they went into a negotiation, his team was the best prepared, and they won. And so if you're going through life and you're not being as productive as possible, and you're not getting ahead, and you're overwhelmed, and you're stressed, and you're working till 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, midnight, it's because you're not properly prepared. Mary Poppins says, half begun is half done, and half prepared, better prepared. As the old phrase goes, and it's often attributed to Abraham Lincoln, although I don't think he ever said it, if I had 4 hours to chop down a tree, I'd spend 3.5 hours sharpening my axe. Better planning and preparation. Better planning and preparation, and you'll be more successful. And it's the same thing. You have to prepare so that you are sharp. And that's how you're going to get ahead, get more done, work fewer hours, and be done by 2 p.m. The fifth step is the boring bedtime, the Amish hour, as I call it. And I will tell you that the keystone habit in getting things done and reducing stress is getting to bed on time. I would say that 95%, maybe 99% of people don't get to bed on time. It's midnight and they're like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I'm supposed to be in bed at 10 o'clock. And that goes on every night. And they wake up tired, they hit snooze, they get behind, they have too much coffee, too much sugar. Now they're anxious, now they're angry, and the rest of the day's ruined. But if you get to bed on time, using the Amish hour principle, which is the reverse alarm, an alarm goes off at 9, so you get to bed at 10. And when that alarm goes off, your electronics are turned off. Your laptop is turned off, so you're not checking email. Your phone is turned off, so you're not checking WhatsApp and not getting messages on Facebook and not getting angry on Twitter because you saw something like, oh, was that last video or that last email that somebody sends you that enrages you, and you can't fall asleep. And the next thing you know, the next day's ruined. So you turn things off at 9. You go and you have a bath. You read the books. You bake your lunch. You have a chat with your spouse. You do a jigsaw puzzle. all these old things that only the Amish might still be doing, and you get to bed on time. And you're powered down. Like for me, reading a book is like taking a sleeping pill. And actually, you're not even in bed on time. You're bed early and asleep early, which means you get up on time. You might even wake up before your alarm, and you get up and you're ahead of the game. And when you're ahead of the game, you get done work early. And when you're ahead of the game, you, number 6, stop hitting snooze and you kick that to the curb. You get rid of the bad habits, because when you wake up in the morning and you hit snooze, you knock down a negative domino, and then you knock down another negative domino by having too much caffeine and sugar because you're late and you're tired and you're hungry, and so on and so forth. But if you get up early, that's a positive domino. Then you get something done, positive domino. Then you maybe have time for meditation, positive domino, and so on and so forth. And next thing you know, you're knocking down huge positive dominoes because you got up on time. So when you kick snoozing to the curb, step number 6, you're not going to be late and your day's going to get done early. Finally, number 7 is accountability. If you want to change your life in any area, if you want to lose weight, you get accountability to a trainer. If you want to make money, you get accountability to a business coach. If you want to find the love of your life, you get accountability to your friends or a relationship coach or a matchmaker. All of those things I've done, and I found the love of my life. So if you want to change your life, you must have accountability. And specifically, accountability to somebody you deeply do not want to disappoint. Someone who will tell you to jump this high and you jump higher. Someone who will tell you to go do XYZ and you'll do XYZ, ABC, 1, 2, 3, come back and ask for more. And when you have that in place, and that's what we provide as coaches in our business at Early to Rise, that's going to separate you from everybody else. And when you say, Coach, I want to be done by 2 p.m. All right, we clearly communicate it. We better do better planning and preparation. We ruthlessly say no. We stop the bad habits. We get to bed on time. It's going to change your life. And that's what we do. So if you're interested in coaching to change your life, to change your business, to scale your business, to work less, comment coaching down below, and we'll send you a message. Because I'm so passionate about this because it's changed my life. But I did it the hard way. 25 years of figuring it out on my own, when I can download it to you in less than 25 minutes and hold you accountable in the next 25 days, and everything will change. So comment coaching down below. Super excited to hear about your success stories. Let me know if your life changes like Shanda's did, who's now done at 2 p.m., making millions and living the life of her dreams. Talk to you soon.